Greetings, AMCers. I'm John Campia. Well, the brand new Zack Snyder film Sucker Punch, which made a huge splash at last year's Comic-Con, finally opens this weekend in AMC theaters everywhere. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to go down to Beverly Hills and talk with the girls of Sucker Punch. And right now, I'd like to present to you my conversation with the lead girl of the film playing Baby Doll, Miss Emily Browning. Here's our conversation.
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Tell us about your character in the film.
Okay, so I play Baby Doll. She's a young girl. The film's set in the 60s, and at that time I think it was easy to institutionalize young girls for very little reason, for being, girls could be lobotomized for being outspoken, so I think this girl is sent by her stepfather to this insane asylum to be lobotomized, essentially. And she has to escape. She's lost everything that's dear to her. She's lost her family, and so she sort of feels like she'll stop at nothing for freedom. She's nothing to lose. And she meets this group of amazing young women, and they band together to escape from this asylum. And that is... they have all of these challenges and sort of demons to face, and that is represented in this fantasy world as, dragons and zombies, and so I think those creatures and those battle scenes represent their sort of battles in their real life, which I think is a really cool, interesting concept.
Now, from the first impression of Baby Doll that we get in the film, you think you know what type of character is, and you realize as the film's going on there's so much more to her. Yeah. And Vanessa and I were talking about this earlier, that it seemed to me like each one of the other girls represented a different side to who Baby Doll was. Is that how you guys planned that out?
I think that's how we all saw it in a way. I think it's dangerous to get into that too much in terms of preparation, because each person needs to be able to build their own character. But yeah, first of all, I'll split that into two answers, because first of all, you said it's interesting because you think physically you see this character and she's small, as I'm very small, with blonde pigtails, and in the beginning she's in pink pajamas, and you think, oh, a sweet, fragile little girl. Right. And I love the fact that Zack flipped that on its head completely, At the beginning, babies seem somewhat victimized, and then I think you can see from her first line, which is, 20 minutes into the film, which, the first line I had in the film was holding a knife to somebody's throat who was hurting my new friend and saying, "Let her go, pig." Right. I think for me, that was so cool to be able to say that line. That made me feel so powerful and awesome. But I think for me, that sort of is the moment where you go, oh, okay, she's really tough. This is interesting. Maybe, to be cliche, maybe I shouldn't judge a book by its cover. And I like that Zack wanted to show that, female stereotypes are ridiculous, and he wanted to mess with that, and he wanted to be like, this girl who looks like a schoolgirl and has blonde pigtails is actually unbelievably tough, and stoic, and willing to fight for herself and for the people that she loves. And I think that was definitely really, really cool for me to play with. And then in terms of all of the other characters being different sides of Baby Doll, I think that's absolutely true. When she walks into the asylum, she sees these kind of, she's there under false pretenses. She shouldn't be in the asylum, in my opinion. Right. She's been thrown in there by her stepfather, and she sees these girls that look as though they are meant to be in the asylum. I think in the first scene, and that's almost like sort of blank canvases for her, and she projects different parts of herself onto these women, so that in the brothel world, which is sort of the next level of reality, they become these whole characters that are different parts of her, I think.
Now, you talked a little bit about Zack. What was it like working with a director like Zack Snyder?
Zack, first of all, just professionally, his work, I'm so completely inspired by his mind. I think the way that his mind works is beautiful and amazing, and he just has such original and interesting ideas. And he's so prepared as well, He has everything planned out. We knew exactly what we were getting ourselves into. But then on a personal level, he's just like the coolest guy, and he's so genuinely sweet. I mean, he's my mate. He's he's a good friend of mine now. He's so lovely and funny and just sort of respectful to every single person on the cast and on the crew. And I think when there's that attitude at the top, it's like a trickle-down effect, and it meant that the whole crew was so positive and happy and respectful of one another, and there were no arguments on set, which is crazy for a film set. I mean, there's usually a lot of head-butting, and there just wasn't, and I think that all came from Zach and the fact that he's so positive and so calm, and yeah, I would mop the floor for Zack Snyder. Like, I just, if he threw any script at me, it doesn't even matter what it is, I'd do it in a heartbeat, because I had the best time working with him.
I've got to ask. There are parts of this film, and an element to this film of the, for lack of a better phrase, the hypnotic dance.
Yeah.
And the hypnotic dance is not something we see on screen. Did you guys ever choreograph out, or was ever considered that you would actually perform this dance for us to see, or was it always something that the audience would just have to imagine?
No, we were never going to show anything.
Okay.
I don't think. It just because. No matter how amazing a filmmaker is, no matter how vivid and beautiful a scene is, with some things, there's just no better, nothing can top your own personal imagination.
Right.
Everybody in the audience is going to view the dance as something different, and I think that makes it really intriguing and really special. I think, if you ever saw Baby Doll dancing, there would be, of course, audience members that are like, that wouldn't put me into a trance, And I think that it's kind of necessary that that's something that you don't see, that it's a secret, I think.
Well, congratulations on the film. We can't wait to have it on AMC screens.
Oh, excellent.